Josee the Tiger and the Fish Short Story Collection Review. Readers may already be familiar with the name Josee the Tiger and the Fish thanks to the film by Studio Bones, which is giving a theatrical release last year and is now available on home video. What you might know is that the work is based on a short story written by Seiko Tanabe in 1984 and was then included in his short story collection also titled Josee the Tiger and the Fish. This book includes 9 short stories which focus on 9 different women and their relationships. Some are married, others divorced, and others yet still single and waiting for that perfect partner to come along. The opening story is titled I Can't Drink This Hot Tea and follow scriptwriter Aguri, who is meeting with an old flame who called her out of the blue. Initially, she excited about the meeting, but it quickly becomes clear that her visitor may not have the best of intentions for calling her up and may just be wanting to ask for some financial help. This leads to a bittersweet conclusion for the story, something that majority of these short stories have in common. The second story, I Always Had a Feeling, follows Kuzoi, who is preparing herself to meet her younger sister's husband-to-be. Despite being the older sibling, Kuzoi is yet to get married or even have a relationship where she's jealous of her sister for getting ahead. Kuzoi has always lived with her head in the clouds, imagining her perfect life. Since the announcement of her sister getting married, Kuzoi can help but imagine the fine one should bring home and what it would be like if Kuzoi was dating him instead. But of course, this will never be anything for than a dream. On the wall, this one is a little tighter at the opening act, and I think that between the two, readers get a good idea what tone Tanabe is aiming for with the collection. One of my favorite stories is the 5th, titled Taikan Prisoner, which is about Minoru and Rie, who are a divorced couple spending their last day together. Rie is relieved that the whole process is over, but Minoru is reluctant to leave her and tries to put it off as long as he can be making idle chit-chat. The two really reminisce about their relationship, the good and the bad, and Rie even wonders what will happen if she took him back. I like this one since there is such a clearly defined history between the characters, and while some of the other tales don't dive deep enough into the relationships before ending, this one balance is just right. Of course, I could talk about this collection without taking a moment to put the spotlight on Josee, the Tiger and the Fish. Compared to the film, this story opens with a much older Josee, who is married to Soreo and enjoying her honeymoon. It thus briefly explains how the two met, as we see expanded on in the film. But for the most part, this is about their relationship and how, despite her disabilities, Josee leads a happy life with her husband. Having been written in the 1980s, perhaps it comes as no surprise that the story doesn't hold the same level of sensitivity and sensibilities toward talking about disabilities as more modern works do. Soneo sadly make quite a few remarks about Josee looking doll-like, and while they will be easy to ignore once, it says quite a few times within 22 pages and always seems to be in situations where Josee struggled to get around for particularly in need of Soneo's support. I think this is a shame because it undermines the fact that this is one of the few living situations in the book where the couple is actively happy. While the subject of things that may rub readers the wrong way, it's worth mentioning that one of the couples in this book is a woman, and her teenage half-nephew, even though the protagonist One knows her attractions to him is wrong. She avoids putting a stop to his feelings and instead continues to welcome his advances until we then sleep together on the next weekend away. This one leaves me with mixed feelings, but at the end, I can oddly appreciate it since it does contribute to the overall goal of showing all kinds of love and relationships. I think that's where the strength of Tanabe's writing shines out. Although these stories don't always have enough time to get you hooked, given they're all only 20 to 30 pages long. The ones that resonate with the reader be something you're left thinking about for a while after putting the book down. Given that the stories feature women for all walks of life, there is going to be someone everyone can relate to. Every reader is likely to have a different experience and grow attached to different characters. In some ways, I think Yen Press has done a disservice to this book by book marketing it as if it was an adaptation of the Josee the Tiger and the Fish film and calling it a light novel. What it certainly isn't. Seiko Tanabe is an acclaimed Japanese author, and I think you have selling power of that fact alone. The other problem is that Josee is a film, was more family friendly than his collection, which is focused on mature topics. It has quite a few sexual references. They're very different things, and just no one accidentally brought this thinking it will be a novel adaptation of the film. As mentioned above, Josee the Tiger and the Fish comes to the West thanks to the Yen Press and has been translated by Mott Rotson. The translation reads well, Andre could have done with another couple of proofreads, since there are a couple of instances of missing words and sentences. Not a huge issue, but given that Yen Press has put this out as an expensive hardcover edition, you would expect it to be problem-free. Overall, Josee the Tiger and the Fish is an interesting short story collection focusing on what it means to be a woman in love. It's such a varied selection, and there will be something for everyone to connect with, making it well deserved of a place in your collection. 8 over 10.